Hi guys, and welcome to my very brief recap of Elimination Chamber 2022 for WWE. Yes, the show has just finished about an hour or so ago here in the UK. Luckily, we got to watch it early because obviously Saudi Arabia, different time zone, and we got to watch it nice and early here in the UK at 5 o'clock in the evening. Woohoo! Because usually we have to watch it in American time zones. So here in the UK, that's like midnight. So we have to stay up late to watch pay-per-views. So obviously, luckily for the Saudi shows, it's a bit different. And yes, it's just recently finished. It's still quite fresh in my head. I did just record a video for half an hour discussing the show, ranting for a lot of it, and the sound didn't work. I went to go and edit it, and there was no sound. So I've just wasted half an hour doing a video that I can't even show. Fantastic. So, gonna go again. I'm gonna try a bit shorter here. So, yeah, Elimination Chamber. Not great, was it? It was not a particularly great show. So yeah, Elimination Chamber. I think we were all a bit down after the Rumble. We were hoping we were going to get something of a better show, and this looked good on paper. This looked like a good show, and it wasn't, was it? A bit disappointing, but a bit disappointing. It was just disappointing, and another lackluster pay-per-view, which is rare for WWE these days. Usually they have good to semi-good shows, then sometimes a great show, and then sometimes you have a bit of a stinker in between all that. This time we've had two disappointing to okay pay-per-views back to back. Here, the Rumble was disappointing, and I think on the whole this show was pretty disappointing. I think that looking at this card, there was only maybe two good things. Everything else was just okay to bad. So yeah, guys, I'll be as quick as I can. So yeah, Rey Mysterio beat Miz on the pre-show. Who cares? Sets you up, probably going to set up a mixed tag team match at WrestleMania with Rey Mysterio teaming up with Dominic, going up against the Miz and Cody Rhodes or Logan Paul. Who cares? And the Roman Reigns beat Goldberg in 6 minutes. Yeah, pretty nothing match. You know, Goldberg hit a few spears. He didn't even get to hit a jackhammer. Goldberg, he didn't look particularly good towards the end. You know, he had a bit of a bloody head, and it just wasn't pretty to watch. It kind of just felt pointless. Like, what was the point of this match if, you know, I get it was to make Roman look strong. He's beat another legend. You know, it's another person scratched off his list, but Goldberg didn't. Roman didn't even hit a spear on Goldberg. So what was the point of this match? It didn't. And the finish was weak. Roman hit a guillotine choke on Goldberg, and Goldberg just passed out. That was it. It didn't make Goldberg look particularly strong. You know, this is the same guy who squashed Brock Lesnar not that long ago. A couple of years ago. The same guy who, you know, former two-time Universal Champion. It's just. I think Goldberg should retire soon. Honestly, man, he just doesn't look like the same person he was a few years ago, and it just did not a pointless match, really pointless match, really. And Goldberg didn't look particularly good. Like I said, it was kind of sad to see him just get beaten by a sloppy looking submission hold. But it is what it is. Roman goes into WrestleMania 38 as Universal Champion, where he will face Brock Lesnar. So yeah, kind of a pointless match. What was the point? 6 minutes. I think out of all of Roman's title defenses on pay-per-view, this is probably one of the weakest. Yeah, just whatever. Maybe Goldberg will have maybe one more match at WrestleMania, and that'll be it for Goldberg. We will see. On to something good. Bianca Belair won the Women's Elimination Chamber match. It was a fine match. It was a good 15.5-minute match. Even though some of the eliminations were a bit weak. Nikki ASH lasted like 6 minutes. Doudrop 8 minutes. Liv Morgan did okay. She eliminated Doudrop, but then she got pinned quite quickly by Alexa Bliss. Rhea Ripley looked okay, but then she got eliminated after 12 minutes. It was only 15.5 minutes, and for an Elimination Chamber match, that is pretty short, to be honest. But it is what it is. Yeah. I guess they didn't want to go too long because they were all wearing, you know, bodysuits because they can't show your skin in Saudi Arabia, and, you know, in the heat, maybe they didn't want to have too much of a long match before getting too winded. So yeah, but it's good for Bianca Belair. She faces Becky Lynch at WrestleMania now, I assume, for the Raw Women's Championship. It should be a good match. Very good match. It's probably one of the few matches I'm actually looking forward to at this year's WrestleMania. Yes, Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. Shame for Liv Morgan. I was hoping she would win, but yeah, Bianca Belair, cool. Because obviously she's fresh off her. Well, she's been very, very hot for a while. Obviously, she won at last year's WrestleMania, beating Sasha Banks on night 1. Then we got a tag team match. Naomi and Ronda Rousey going up against Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville. Ronda Rousey had one hand tied behind the back. Why? I do not care about this feud. Do not care about this match. Ronda and Charlotte is a match I'm not that excited for WrestleMania, to be honest. Ronda didn't look particularly good. She wore a bloody judo suit for the match. She didn't do a lot during the match, apart from a few little moves here and there. Naomi was really the only person in the match that looked good with her cool offense. And then at the end, Ronda Rousey hit an armbar on Sonya Deville. Yeah, this didn't get me. Wow, cool. This didn't really get me excited for Ronda and Charlotte at WrestleMania, despite the fact they had a few little stare downs. Yeah, poor. It was bad. It wasn't even okay. It was just bad. No one in this match came out looking better, apart from maybe Naomi. Yeah. Then we got Drew McIntyre beating Madcap Moss in a Falls Count Anywhere match. It was fine. Yeah, there was a really nasty looking bump that Madcap Moss took. It was nasty, right on the neck. Ooh, looked really painful, but luckily I think Madcap Moss didn't. It wasn't like because it could have been really that could have been like a life-changing injury if it had been on a bad spot. But luckily, Madcap Moss looked okay. Fingers crossed. Yeah, and Drew, Happy Corbin kept interfering every now and then, but at the end, Drew won with a claymore to Madcap Moss with the sword and holding the sword. It was okay, and he points at Happy Corbin saying, "You're next." So maybe we're going at the building towards Drew and Corbin at WrestleMania. Yay! Then moving on, we had Becky Lynch in probably what was easily match of the night. Yes, we had Becky Lynch going up against Lita, a singles match for the Raw Women's Championship. Easily match of the night. I loved it. Really good match between these two. So many close near falls. It was a good solid 12.5-minute match. Easily the best wrestling match of the entire night by a mile. Everything else was either just paled in comparison. You know, Lita can still go, even though she's probably quite a few years past her prime now. She can still go. She had a few good closest falls in this match, and she looked like she belonged. And her and Becky put on a very solid match together. And it looked like at a few points, Lita was going to win. She hit a twist of fate and a moonsault, but Becky very very nearly kicked out at a close near fall. Ooh! And then at the end, Becky out of nowhere hit a manhandle slam on Lita to retain. Good solid match. Lita looked strong. You know, she nearly beat Becky. Becky looked strong. It's a clean win for her. And yeah, it's a good win for Becky. It reminds me very much of when Charlotte beat Trish Stratus at SummerSlam a few years back. This was quite similar. You know, it's another one of the new top women in the company beating a former legend. You know, in Lita. Whereas just like when Charlotte beat Trish Stratus at SummerSlam in 2019, I think that was SummerSlam 2019 or 2018. I think it was 2019. So yeah, it was a good match. Definitely by far the match of the night, and I'm looking forward to it. Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. WrestleMania 38. Then on to a match which never even took place. Yes, we've got the Usos going up against the Viking Raiders for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. So of course the Usos defending the belts, and when the Viking Raiders come out, the Usos just attack the Viking Raiders before the match even begins. They hit a few suplexes. They throw Ivar on top of Eric, looked painful, and that was it. The match never even took place. Yeah, it's just ended in a no contest. Well, why? What was the point of even doing this? If you tell me you flew out Eric and Ivar and the Usos all the way to Saudi Arabia from the USA, about 13 hours on a plane for this. Nothing even happened. It's a bit of money. It's a nice little paycheck for them all. I guess a nice bit of Saudi money, but it's just pointless. Just have the match. This could have been a really good match. The Viking Raiders and the Usos. That's on paper a very good looking tag team match, and it never even happened. So maybe there's going to be a rematch on SmackDown next week. Yeah, that's more like it. Have a rematch on SmackDown. Yeah, instead of one of your premium live events in Saudi Arabia in front of 40,000 people. Yeah, that's better. Have it on SmackDown instead. So yeah, a bit of a rant this video because this show annoyed me. The only good things were the women's matches, apart from the tag team match, which was not. And then on to the main event. Oh God. The main event, yes. An Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship. Yes, we had Bobby Lashley defending the belts up against AJ Styles, Austin Theory, Riddle, Seth Rollins, and Brock Lesnar. And this was a pretty Elimination Chamber match, wasn't it? Just not great. Like the women, it only went 15 minutes. Two pretty short Elimination Chamber matches. Like, if you go back, look at the last few Elimination Chamber pay-per-views. Most of the Elimination Chamber matches are like at least 20, 30, sometimes 40 minutes long. Both of these ones were 15 minutes. Maybe it's just because it was Saudi Arabia. It's very hot there. It's hot, humid, and the wrestlers don't want to be wrestling for too long. But it was too short, man. Too short. Anyway, the match gets started. Who comes out? It's Seth. I don't even know who starts the match. I think Austin Theory and Seth start the match. They have a bit of a wrestling match for a bit. Then in comes Riddle. Then in comes AJ Styles. They have a bit of a match they have a bit of a cool match for about 10 minutes. Not too long. Then something weird happens. Seth powerbombed Austin Theory into Bobby Lashley's pod. It falls on Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley looks injured, like he's on the corner like that. All the officials and the refs come in, and Bobby Lashley gets taken out of the match. So, and this really confused me. Like, was it kayfabe? Was that meant to happen, to take Bobby Lashley out of the match so he didn't get pinned? Or was he actually, was he actually hurt? Did he suffer a concussion? Because like they showed the replay, Bobby didn't get hit. When Austin Theory got thrown in, it just went near Bobby, and then Bobby just went down like that. So I don't think it was an accident. I think that was meant to happen because they wanted to protect Bobby Lashley. They didn't want him losing, even though, because he's just won the belt at the Royal Rumble. So yeah, they wanted to protect him. So they made an excuse to have him taken out of the match with a fake injury, just so he didn't get pinned. So they keep Bobby Lashley looking strong. He didn't lose the belt by a pinfall. So what was the point in flying Bobby Lashley all the way to Saudi Arabia, just like the Viking Raiders and the Usos? He did nothing. He just stood there in the pod and then got taken out of the match. That's like the easiest paycheck of Bobby Lashley's career. But if I was Bobby Lashley, I'd be pissed. What a waste. He did nothing in the match and then he loses the belt. If I was Bobby Lashley, I'd be a bit pissed because he just won the belt less than a month ago at the Royal Rumble. And now he's just lost it again to back to Brock. I did predict Brock because I knew he was going to win. But poor Bobby Lashley, man, he deserves better than that. So is it a real injury or is it kayfabe? I personally think it was kayfabe, just to get Bobby Lashley out of the match, to protect him so he didn't get pinned. So yeah, then Brock comes in, he kicks down the pod, and he just kicks down the pod and he beats everyone up. He hits an F5 on Seth, eliminates him by Seth. He hits an F5 on Riddle, eliminates him by Riddle. He hits an F5 on AJ Styles, eliminates him. Do you remember when Seth and Brock had that amazing rivalry in 2019? And Seth beat Brock twice in the same year. Do you remember that? Yeah, F5 by Seth. Do you remember when AJ Styles and Brock had that really good match at Survivor Series 2017? Yeah, bye AJ Styles, bye. He may be one of the best wrestlers in the world, but yeah, bye. Riddle didn't... Yeah, then the last two was Austin Theory and Brock. And Austin Theory was like, running away, and Brock was chasing him. It was funny, like seeing Brock chase Austin Theory around the cell. And at one point, Austin Theory hits a low blow on Brock, and then he hits a DDT, but then Brock kicks out, and Brock just stares at him like that, laughing. And Austin Theory, he gets taken up to the pod, and Brock hits this cool F5 and Austin Theory off one of the pods, even though Austin Theory landed on his feet, so it didn't look like it hurt that much, but still, it was cool. Then Brock gets back in the ring. I think he hit nothing. I think he just goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3, and wins. And you, WWE champion, and I believe now 7-time WWE champion, I think, Brock Lesnar. Was it 7-time? I don't even know, and I don't even care. Yeah, I did predict Brock, but I didn't want him to win. I was hoping Lashley would retain, but Brock wins again. Lol. Effing hell, man. These first 3 pay-per-views have all been about Brock, haven't they? Day 1, he wins the championship in that fatal 5-way last minute. The Rumble, he lost to Lashley, but then he won thanks to Roman, but then he wins the Rumble. He wins the Rumble. Now here at Elimination Chamber, he just F5s, beats up everyone and wins the belt back. So yeah, WrestleMania 38, the main event of night 2, I assume. It's going to be Roman and Brock, title versus title, Universal Championship versus WWE Championship, and probably a big title unification bout. Because why the hell not? You know, we had title versus title at WrestleMania 35 with Becky, Lynch, Ronda and Charlotte. Let's do it again 3 years later with the men, with Roman and Brock for their third WrestleMania main event in a row. Not in a row, but WrestleMania match. You know, WrestleMania 31, WrestleMania 34, now WrestleMania 38. Yay! I'm just a bit dejected because does anyone really care about Roman and Brock? Not me, not really. I'm sure it's going to be a fun match. I'm sure it's going to be a lot better than their Crown Jewel match last year. But does anyone really care about this match for a third time at WrestleMania? The only match to main event WrestleMania 3 times in a row. Not in a row. Sorry, I don't keep saying in a row because it's not been in a row. This has been 3 WrestleMania matches across 7 years. You know, 31, 34, now 38. So, yeah, the only match to main event WrestleMania 3 times. And now it's title versus title, so that means we're only going to have one men's world title match at WrestleMania, and it's going to be for both belts. It will feel big, I'm sure, but for me, it's just not for me. And yeah, this year's WrestleMania is not looking particularly great. I'm not Roman and Brock, the title versus title, not for me. Charlotte and Ronda, no. Drew and Corbin, no. Logan Paul and Miz teaming up, that's what I've heard rumours. No. What's left? Edge and AJ Styles, that could be good. If that match happens. Becky and Bianca, I'm sure that'll be a good match. Yeah, but anyway, guys, the Elimination Chamber, sorry, I'm going off topic. Elimination Chamber, pretty disappointing show. The only things that were good on the show was Becky and Lita by a mile. And Bianca winning the Chamber was fun. But everything else was just okay to bad. You know, Rey and Dominic, whatever. Roman and Goldberg just felt pointless and a waste of time. And Goldberg looked so weak. Getting beaten by a submission in 6 minutes. He didn't even hit a jackhammer. It was weak. But it's a bit nice tidy paycheck for him, isn't it? Before he probably retires in a month or two, whatever. Naomi, the tag team match of Ronda Rousey and Charlotte, no. Drew and Madcap Moss was fine, but I just didn't care as much as I love Drew. The Usos and Viking Raiders never even effing happened, and Brock wins again. Lol. God. Oh, poor Bobby Lashley. Poor Bobby Lashley, man. So yeah, guys, what are your thoughts on Elimination Chamber? Are you pretty disappointed like I am? I think it was a shame. I just hope WrestleMania is good. At the minute, it doesn't look particularly good, does it? But I hope WrestleMania is good. We've got 6 weeks now to build WrestleMania 38. 6 weeks to build a good-looking card for both nights. So yeah, guys. After this and after the Rumble, I'm a bit dejected at the minute. So yeah, what are you thinking, guys? Comment below. Let me know. So thank you for watching, guys. And I'll see you very, very soon. Bye.